Hi everybody, today I'll be showing you how to do a simple self-working card trick that is very easy and very simple. To begin, first I would shuffle the cards lightly, like that, and I would give the cards to my spectator. I would ask them to pick any card from this deck that is in about the middle. So, for example, like this. So this would be the spectator's card. Place it on the side. Put the deck back together and place their card on top. Next, I'd ask the spectator to cut the cards in half and place the bottom half on top of the first. I'd then ask them to flip it over and repeat this process again and again, like this. And I do not know their card, but the objective is I will guess where their card is in the deck. So I'd tell my spectator to stop right about here, and then I would place the cards down, wave my hand over. Now I tell you, your card is in the 10th position in this deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this 10th card should be yours. So now let's begin the tutorial. For this, you'll need a standard set of 52 cards, and that was all you'll need. Before you do the trick, when your spectator isn't looking, or when you're in like a different room, what you have to do is you need to make a small setup. So what I have here is I have in one suit, I have all the cards from king to ace in a row with the ace on the top. Then on the bottom of my deck, with all the cards face up, I place this on top. This is what it's going to help us identify where the spectator's card is. So to start off the trick, ask your spectator to pick a card somewhere in the deck from about the middle, like this card. Let's both look at it because just for the tutorial example, this is the 7 of clovers. Now set that aside, square up the deck again, and then we ask our spectator to put the card on top. Next, we split the deck in half like this, and our spectator's card is still on top, and our setup is on the bottom of this one. So when we ask our spectator to put the bottom half on top of the top half, what happens is our setup goes right on top of the spectator's card. This is very helpful in figuring out where the spectator's card is. So now what we'll do is we tell the spectator to flip the cards over like that and ask them to split it in the middle again, like that. Now you see I have a 4 of clubs here, and if you remember, the setup that we had used the clubs. So since there's a 4 of clubs here, this would tell us that the spectator's card is the 4th card from the top, which is this one. And as you can see, it is the 7 of clovers. But if you want the trick to go on a bit longer, you could ask them to keep cutting the cards in half like this until you get to a more interesting card. And for this example, you have to assume that jacks are 11, queens are 12, and kings are 13. So, for example, if the card that is on top, the club, is a face card, then like a queen, for example, then the spectator's card would be the 12th from the top. So for example, if our spectator split the cards like this, so that the queen is on the top, then we tell them to stop and turn the cards back over, give them to us. We can do whatever we want to try to make it seem realistic. And then we'd know, because there's a queen on the bottom and queens are worth 12, we'd know the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th card would be our spectators, and as you can see, it is. So that's the trick. But if you want to make it a bit more interesting, then you'd have to change the setup a bit. If you want to make it so that it's harder for the spectator to figure out what you're doing, then put the cards back like this, except this time rearrange them in order so that the king is on the top. Then put this on the bottom of the deck and repeat what you did before. Ask the spectator to take a card from the middle, 5 of clovers, like that, and then split it in half, putting our cards at the top, turn it over, and cut the deck repeatedly. Okay, now we have the ace at the top, but this time the card is not the first at the top. That's because since we put the king at the bottom this time, the card is actually at the position that's 14 minus the value of the card that's over here. So for example, since this ace is worth 1, you can see that because there's only one thing on here, one shape, then you do 14 minus 1 and get 13, and the card would be in the 13th position. 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and you can see this is our card. This makes it harder for the spectator to find out how we're actually doing it, and so that they can't relate the number that's on the bottom of the deck and the number that we tell them the card's in. It makes it seem a bit more realistic and a bit more magical. Thank you for watching.